Sometimes in life, we have to face difficult decisions, the kind that makes us question everything we know about love, loyalty, and what's right. For one woman and her horse, the moment has come. It's a story of devotion, of two lives intertwined, and the painful reality of knowing when it's time to say goodbye.
Chipper has been with you for so long. I've watched you both grow up. The bond you shared is something special. I can't see how hard this is for you, but we need to talk about what's best for him. His health, his quality of life. It's not the same anymore. His condition is getting worse, not better.
I've had him since I was a kid. He's been with me through everything. My first day of high school, my graduation, even my wedding day. Chipper's always been there. I feel like he's a part of me, like a part of my life. I don't know how I could let that go. How do you say goodbye to something like that?
I know, and I can't imagine how painful this must be, but ethically, we have a responsibility to think beyond ourselves and consider what's best for Chipper. I've been with him through his treatments, and I can see he's struggling. Every day he's in more pain, and he's not going to change. We need to think about his suffering.
But he's always been so strong. He's fought through everything. He is a fighter. If he's still here, then he must want to keep going. If he's not giving up, then why should I give up on him? He's still with me, right?
I get it. You don't want to let him go. It's just not about the horse. It's about the person you've been with him all these years. But sometimes, love means knowing when it's time to let go. The hardest part isn't the goodbye, it's the guilt we feel for wanting to keep them around. Even when we know it's not the best thing for them. Chipper's not just a horse. He's a part of your life, your family. And making a decision to end his suffering, it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And yes, but also it's one of the most loving things. We can't just think about how much we'll miss them. We have to think about what's best for them and the kindest thing for him now.
You know, sometimes the hardest choice is the right one. We have a duty to our animals, to ensure their dignity, their comfort. And yes, it's heartbreaking to face, but sometimes the ethical thing to do is let them go. We often hold on because we're not ready to say goodbye. We have to ask ourselves, what's fair to them?
But I just don't know if I'm ready. I don't want to let him go.
None of us are ever really ready. There's no manual for this. We'll think there'll be more time, but sometimes there isn't. The right thing, the kindest thing, is making sure he's not in pain anymore.
It's so difficult, but it's a part of being a responsible pet owner. You've loved him for so long, and sometimes that love means knowing when it's time to stop fighting for our own desires, and instead fight for his peace. Chipper's given you his all, and now it's time to return that to him, to end his suffering.
I don't want him to feel alone. I don't want him to feel like I'm giving up on him.
He'll never feel alone. You've been with him every step of the way. And when the time comes, you'll be there, just like you've always been. It's the hardest thing, but it's also the most loving thing. Letting go doesn't mean you've stopped loving him. It means you've given him the peace he deserves.
Okay. I understand.
No one is ever ready for the end, but it's in these moments when we must decide what's best, not for us, but for the ones we love. The hardest choice is often the right one. Because love isn't just about holding on, it's knowing when to let go and doing so with a heart full of compassion so that they don't have to suffer any longer. True love is knowing when it's time to say goodbye, and sometimes that's the greatest gift we can give.